Hey, look, we're live!
We're here. Welcome to
Yay.
Cult.Exe at PAX, a channel here on Plus One EXP. And in Plus One EXP's booth, I'm Sarah, a high-level monk and cult leader.
And I'm Keegan. I'm a content necromancer and the other co-leader.
Plus One is a weird little brand that multi-classes in tabletop game design, beard and skincare alchemy, and the Bardic College of Content Creation. The dream and hope here at Plus One is to help amazing designers find great players who love their games and help amazing players find great designers whose game they will love. We are joined by Jay.
Hello, my name is Jay Dragon. I am a queer tabletop game designer located in Philadelphia. I am best known for Wanderhome, and we will be playing the upcoming Yazeba's Bed and Breakfast.
I'm very excited. I don't know what to expect in this game at all.
Yeah, it's interesting having a game that I can honestly say that I don't think it's like any game you've ever played before.
Yeah.
And to feel fully confident like this, like there's one game which I will never have to worry about someone saying I could just do this in Dungeons and Dragons. And
Amazing.
I'm 100% sure that no one can ever say that about Yazeba. So.
This is phenomenal.
Would you like me to just take the lead and we can jump right
Yeah,
in?
I
Please,
think
that
we
sounds
should.
great. Tell us about
absolutely.
Yazebas.
So, I'll do the little intro and we'll get into this. Once upon a time, the world was cruel, and there was a witch who knew it well. And so she sold her heart away and built a house in the woods where the world could never find her. At first, she would let no one into her fortress, but in the long march of days, a strange thing happened. In her own cold and spiteful way, the witch made a friend, and then another, and then several more, until her house was teeming with colorful faces and complicated lives. The house would come to be known as Yazeba's Bed and Breakfast, and it would last for a very long time. Here are some important mysteries of the Bed and Breakfast. On the front door, there is a sign which reads, "No soliciting, trespassing, romancing, snooping, snitching, or unnecessary small talk welcome. Yazeba reserves her temper for those she catches violating these rules." She has a second, smaller sign underneath which reads, "Room for everyone." It is always September 15th in the Bed and Breakfast, regardless of the season outside. It's her favorite day of the year. The Bed and Breakfast is in many places at many times, but is most commonly near Vale Ridge, somewhere on the East Coast, somewhen in the 20th century. And the Bed and Breakfast is both quaint and sprawling, with enough room, truly, for everyone. The way we're going to play this is we are going to take a chapter, which is going to be about an hour-long scenario.
Okay.
Where we are going to leap in. We're going to play. We're not going to go fishing, I've decided, but we are going to put on a play.
Wonderful.
Okay.
In a certain way. And we are each going to choose one of the residents to play as.
Okay.
These residents are kind of the main character of Yazeba's Bed and Breakfast. I have little printouts here of the illustrations for folks. This is my binder that I use for playtesting.
I love it.
The actual game will be a big, thick book that you don't have to kind of keep shuffling things
I sort
around
of
in,
love the
but-
idea that everybody would get Yazebas as just a giant binder with loose papers in
Oh,
it.
I would love that. I
Like-
think that'd be a great version of
like-
it.
It would be
the
so hard to produce, but
You know your like grandma's recipe book
Yes.
that had all the cards that she picked up, and like the ones she used a lot were like worn out, so you could just pull them out. Like
Yazeba's is kind of a game where the goal, like the final goal, is to build that.
I love that.
It's like a that construction game.
Yes.
And you'll get a real sense of that. So, one of us has to be Sal, the night porter of the Bed and Breakfast, an aspiring rock star who recently got his heart back after having it being stolen by a fairy merchant. Let me find Sal real quick.
Sal's the frog, right?
No, Sal is this lovely fellow. I guess you can't really see that on stream.
Oh,
Or
yeah,
is
the
the camera?
camera.
Camera's over here.
Yeah, he's the one that's not the frog. There you go, perfect. There we go. Yeah, that's Sal. So someone has to be Sal. Does anyone feel motivated to be him?
I'm happy to be Sal.
I
Absolutely,
was
that's
gonna say,
great.
Sal has you vibes, Sarah.
I just got my
Yes,
heart
agreed.
back. I'm ready.
Now, for everyone else, a few other characters, and Keegan, let me know which one you're interested in. If you want to just grab one of these, if there's a picture that speaks to you.
Oh, absolutely. Let's
You can't be Yazeba right now because she's depressed and in her room.
Oh, poor Yazeba.
Yeah, she's having a rough time.
I do actually think I want to be the frog. I know. I
Yes.
just heard at your booth we were talking about Possum Creek Games being like weird little guy generators.
Yes, yeah.
I love it.
And
Parrish is absolutely the weird
Parrish
little
is
guy.
absolutely the weird little guy.
I reckon.
You always play the weird little guy, and
I
that's what I
love to
appreciate
be a
about
weird
you.
little guy.
It's the best.
I reckon for this, I'm going to be Amelie, the robotic housekeeper,
Hell yeah.
Excellent.
who is responsible for keeping things neat and tidy around here. Gosh darn it. I don't know if I'm allowed to curse on the stream.
Yeah,
I don't know if
you're-
you
God
can
damn it.
you can
curse
curse.
as much
God
as you'd
damn
like.
it. I'm gonna
There
be
we
Amelie, God
go.
damn it. So I'm going to give everyone their character sheets real quick.
Cool.
Here is Sal. Here is me. Let me find this is me real quick. And Parrish. Here's Parrish. And here you go. Here's Parrish.
Hell yeah, I got a paper clip.
Yeah, you do. You can see that there are, notes and annotations
Yep,
and things like that. You can, if things make sense, they do, and if they don't, you can ignore them. You notice you have bingos and whoopsies.
Yes.
Bingos are moments of personal strength, and whoopsies are moments of personal weakness. In this chapter, but not most chapters, we will be using a system based on belonging outside belonging, which
Sick.
is to say, whenever you do a whoopsie, you get a token from this right here,
Okay.
and then you may spend that token to do a bingo.
Okay.
There are a couple extra rules for this particular chapter. Again, not most chapters. If I can, give me one moment, please, while I rustle around in my enormous.
Yes. No. It's wonderful.
Let's see where we. I haven't, because Sal sold his heart. I haven't played this chapter very much because he's
Oh.
been too busy being a rock star to have written a play. So this will be, in fact, the first time in a while that I've played this chapter in person.
I really like this sheet has a fully taped on new ability
Yes.
for
Yeah.
me.
You want to show your sheet?
Yeah, mine's got stuff crossed out. Like I have Heart Sal. It was Heartless Sal. Now it's Heart Sal. My heart was broken, fixed, broken, and it's fixed again.
Yep.
Like,
That's
I
what
love
this
it.
game does. So, there are a couple extra things I want to cover. We are going to be putting on Sal's play. Sal's play doesn't exist. We're going to be making it up on the spot as we
Amazing.
go.
Wonderful.
There are, let's see. Before we start, Sal, you'll cast everyone. You've got a list of roles to cast them as.
Okay.
You control the flow of the play, so you
Okay.
can call intermission whenever you want.
Okay.
And ultimately, it is your call when the play ends.
Okay.
The plot and structure of the play will be assumed to include both dizzying success and heart-wrenching failures, moments of comedy and tragedy alike, and for it to all be wrapped up with a happy ending.
Okay.
You have some extra whoopsies as well.
Ooh.
These are yours right here. You can be self-deprecating, edit someone's script right before they go on stage, this sort of thing. We have some things that we can do. These are extra bingos and whoopsies that everyone has access to. Whenever you do one of them, check it off with the pencil. So if you forget your lines, and you get a token and check that off. If all of these happen, the play is a disaster and you cancel it. If all of these happen, then the play was a huge success and people love it.
Okay.
So that's the branch. We'll see whether or not we get all these check marks before we get all these check marks.
Gotcha.
Cool.
Okay.
Does that all make sense? Do
I
you have any
believe
questions
so,
about your
yeah.
character? Oops, sorry about that.
All
Any questions
good.
about your characters or anything like that? Great.
I'm just looking at my Frog Life Crisis here, and I have a frog-sized motorcycle somewhere,
Yes.
and I'm very excited to introduce that later.
Yes, you do. You do have a frog-sized motorcycle. And yeah, those are your journeys. You'll keep an eye out for if you can set them up. Yours not really, but yours working on your music. But if you get the chance to do that, you get that.
Hell yeah.
I've got my own. And we will simply. Are we ready to get into it? We will read an opening script.
Yeah.
Then we will enter into the game. So, we are going to have this script. I will pass it around for your lines, like read the paragraph that includes your lines, like we're
Okay.
in high school, popcorn reading. I am the concierge in addition to being Amelie,
Okay.
so I am the facilitator and narrative voice.
Okay.
You can imagine if you want that I'm at the bed and breakfast, but like in a silly outfit, like a Grand Budapest Hotel style thing.
I love it.
I'm picturing it in my mind's eye.
Yes, thank you, because that's how I'm dressed right
Yeah.
now. Yeah, in Yazeba's bed and breakfast.
yeah.
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 I'm like the one human in the Muppet. you
Yeah,
know?
no, it's incredible.
So I will narrate stuff and then read your line.
I'm sorry.
Perfect.
We're at PAX, and I just want you all to know, it was too late. It's already passed. You all missed it. But there was a very tiny dog wearing a sweater that just walked across the convention floor, and I want to be its best friend, and it's too far gone now.
I feel like you just
But I feel like I summoned it. I was like, I'm picturing you and Yazeba's, and then I turned and there was just a dog in a sweater.
yeah, that was me.
that was you.
That was my tulpa actually.
Okay, incredible.
Cool. So, Chapter 9. Sal has written a play, With Sal and Anyone Theatrical, in which the bed and breakfast puts on a theatrical production in the living room. It is damp in the bed and breakfast, the sort of damp that soaks through the wood of the old walls and drenches everything it can find. Sal was scribbling away inside his spiral notebook as the ink bled through the pages, which is a difficult way to write. He chewed the end of his pen.
Useless. Useless.
He muttered to himself, ripping out a chunk from the waterlogged notebook and throwing it in the direction of the waste bin.
Two-bit no good hack loser can't write.
Hey, Sal, what's that you're working on? Gertrude poked her head out of the dining room, fork sticking out of her mouth.
Oh,
He started, shoving the notebook out of sight beneath the desk.
it's actually, well, I've been working on a play.
Really? What's your play about? It was at that moment that it felt, to Sal, that the whole bed and breakfast had overheard.
A play?
Parrish called from the other room.
Sal, you didn't tell me you were writing a play.
Play, 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 play. Hey, kid screeched. Can I be in it? Can I be in it? Sal stammered.
I guess it's almost done, although it's a rough draft.
Is this me?
Yeah.
My bad.
No
Give me
worries.
this.
Yeah.
Modesty doesn't suit you, old friend.
Parrish wiped his hands off on his apron before picking up one of the many crumpled pieces of paper on the ground.
I think it's marvelous.
Sal blushed. He'd never written a play before.
It takes time to prep a whole show, but I guess we can start planning.
Gertrude grinned under her mask. No one has anything to do while this weather is so miserable. We can turn the couch room into a stage and everything. Let's do this. So,
Awesome.
welcome to Sal's written a play. Sal, you have your playbill. Would you be so kind as to cast the three of us in our various roles?
Yes. Okay, so we have Isabella, the captain of the guard, and in love.
You're not going to be able to cast all of them, so you're
Yes.
probably going to want to pick three that fit.
Don Michael, the fearsome lord here to arrest someone. Pantaloon, an old wealthy merchant who's is someone's father. Lisby, the princess in exile disguised as a man and in love. Captain Redtooth, the infamous pirate captain and in love. Roberto, a banished wizard, also in love. Babeline, a beloved child. Yazeba, the ancient witch who once laid a curse on someone. Bumbelina, queen of the shadow fairies. The terrible dragon, the queen of the moon. Newt, a beleaguered, struggling, and stunningly handsome playwright who is underappreciated in his time. And a tree.
Yes.
Okay.
We have some work to do here.
Yeah, so I feel like I think Sal would cast, and remind me your character's name. Amelie.
Yes, I'm a robot.
I think I would cast Amelie
Ooh.
as Captain Redtooth, the infamous pirate captain in love.
Great.
And Parrish, I feel like I would cast Parrish as either the terrible dragon or the queen of the moon.
Oh, I want to be a terrible dragon.
I know you do, so it would be the terrible dragon.
And what will you play, Sal?
I think Sal, like, looks at the all at the role and wants to play the role that he's secretly written for himself, but Sal's gonna play the tree.
I'm not going to play Newt.
No, he's not gonna play Newt. He's for sure gonna play the tree. This Sal plays the tree.
Absolutely. Wonderful. So I think Amelie's pirate costume is Hey Kid helped, of course. They came in with they made a big cardboard pirate hat that is out of newspaper
love
and
it.
stuff. And Amelie is wearing an old jacket and actually looks kind of piratey for a robot, right? They've kind of got the stance and the dynamic. But they are they're not very, what do you call it? They're it's a nice costume for an amateur, but it's also clearly gonna fall apart very quickly.
Gotcha.
So I think Parrish is wearing Parrish's armor. instead of a dragon costume.
Incredible.
And Sal's just been like, oh yeah, no, you have shape changed.
Totally. Absolutely.
We don't have money to get a dragon costume.
See, I kind of read it as like you're a terrible dragon, and it's like you're terrible at being. You're a terrible dragon.
You don't even look like a dragon.
You look like a dragon.
You're the worst dragon I've ever seen. It's like that.
No.
But
you
you've
have
me.
seen me.
Yes.
But you have seen. I feel like Sal's tree costume. It's not the classic like cardboard cutout with the face. It's more like he has. He's a rock and roll guy. He's taken some of his like leather jackets with the fringe on it, and has like carefully applied little leaves to all the fringe. So he's kind of like a willow sort of a deal, where there's leaves dangling from the fringe off of his hands, and so like when he raises his arms, it like dangles down and looks like a little willow tree when he stands in the back. A little more artistic.
Wonderful. I think I am going to do a whoopsie, which is I think Amelie is going to refuse to diverge from their programming, and as we are setting up the couch room, right, turning the living room into the stage, right, like we've got the couches flipped over to form the walls, we've got the curtains stretched out. Amelie keeps putting the chairs back away as we put them out because they're disorganized, or they're not supposed to be here.
It's not time.
Yeah,
chairs can be out between
I will
this
take
time
a
and
token.
this time.
And they're like, no, we can't have chairs here. You know, we need to like keep the floors clean. It's gonna make a mess. But they're just very like, no, I reckon that this will be better this way.
I think while this is happening and we're just looking around, Sal is dressed in the tree costume and is just shaking his head, looking at it, and running his hands through his fingers, going, this part doesn't make any sense. There's no flow to it. I mean, like, who says like, I'll love you always? Like, that's dumb. Like, it doesn't convey, like, this is bad. We shouldn't do this. I'm gonna do the whoopsie of speaking ill
of your
of my
own writing. Yes, absolutely.
I think while all of this is going on, we do see Parrish fully has convinced himself he's a dragon. And is out here in a corner getting way too into this role, like before we've really made it into his part.
I think Gertrude is like,
and let me take the whoopsie real fast. Lose track of reality while caught up in a flight of fancy.
I love it.
I think Gertrude is very much like, is Parrish riveting? I didn't know he
Ribbit.
Is that what frogs normally sound like?
I'm a frog dragon.
How does the play open?
This is a great question. The play opens, and it's a scene of Captain Redtooth, who's aboard their vessel.
Which is, of course, you know, we got like a table, we flipped it upside down.
Absolutely. We've got a couple of quilts that we've got to sail.
Yes,
People are holding the ends.
Yes, I think Hey Kids being our, like,
yes,
you know, set support.
Yeah, 100%. And we open where Captain Redtooth is aboard their vessel and kind of setting the tone of the play and saying, like, what their deepest desire is. Like, this is where the protagonist proclaims, like, the thing that drives them.
I'm going to misunderstand ambiguity and nuance. And
I love
so
it.
Amelie is standing atop the thing. I think also, let me see, where's our
I think it's right
our
here.
fail list? Let's keep that up front. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna do 2 oopsies in a row to min-max those tokens. I think so. I'm gonna misunderstand ambiguity and nuance. And Amelie is reciting the lines perfectly, word for word. They didn't know what stage directions are, so they are reading it as this. Menacingly, all I want is for the sea. The sea is my love, and it calls to me. Ever since my wipes tear away from eye, rotates 45 degrees to stare at audience, steps away from boat. Ever since my wife passed away, wife crossed out, replaced with fiance. Fiance crossed out.
I'm gonna interrupt the play with a quick correction of, well, no, I think it would be better if you actually don't mention your love of the sea yet. I think that sets the tone like in a completely different direction, and I don't know if that's gonna. I just actually, you know what? This might take a minute. Let me just take a minute.
I am going to improvise the exact wrong line, and I'm going to say, getting another token for my troubles. Where's that pencil? There it is. I'm going to say, I will not mention the sea. Understood. My love is the redacted. Like I
It sounds
start
like
the
you're just
monologue.
cussing through the whole thing.
Yes, I love the beep. I love to sit by the wet beep.
Oh no.
And so it is the audience, which I think is composed of Gertrude and then a bunch of rabbits wearing little outfits. The rabbits are a bit confused and displeased by my performance. So that's not a good start to the play.
No, this is going
When
poorly
does
so far.
how does Parrish feel? Are you still in dragon mode?
Parrish is fully still in dragon mode, unfortunately.
Oh no.
Parrish has gone full dragon.
Oh no.
And I think about as we get here, we see Parrish hop down on the boat maybe a little early, and is
Yes.
delivering a monologue with a lot of gusto about how Captain Redford,
Red Hook.
Red
Hook-
Tooth.
Red Tooth.
Red Tooth. Oh my
God
god.
damn, we missed it. We missed it twice before we landed
It's
there.
okay.
Something's red.
Delivering like a truly gripping monologue about how Captain Redtooth stole something of theirs.
Mm-hmm.
What it is has been left ambiguous during this monologue.
Yeah.
But we're delivering with a lot of gusto. And I'm gonna take one of these bingos.
You're going to
Deliver a monologue with gusto.
I think I will in turn do one of these as well, where I think Amelie draws forth their rapier, which is made out of it's a cardboard tube. Right? It's like three cardboard like three paper towel rolls taped together and like strengthened, and Amelie draws it forth, and in a clearly pre-programmed line from their fencing training floppy disk that they inserted into the back of their head, they say, "En garde, dragon." And I'm going to a daring and gripping sword fight with another character. Because
Amazing.
Parrish, you were once a knight.
I was
So
once
you
a
know how to
knight.
sword fight too.
Yeah. I do know how to sword fight, and I'm very good at it. In fact.
Yes.
And I think here,
The thing is, I downloaded. I've got megabytes of data in my head telling me how to fence well.
How to do this.
Yes.
I've been sort of lost in this flight of fancy where I am the dragon, and
Yes.
this play is a real thing. And I think I assume I understand the situation here, which is that this is a real sword fight.
Yes. Yes. I think the stakes are very different for you.
Yeah, I think I go a little too ham here, and I'm gonna
Yes.
take the whoopsie. A little bit. I just had it. Where'd it go? Refuse to let go.
Yes.
I should be dying in this scene, or at least being defeated in this scene, so I can come back later. But
Yeah.
Instead, we are genuinely, actually sword fighting.
yeah.
I think I am similarly. Let me see. I'm looking at my programming. Yeah, I'm going to get passive aggressive. No, I'm just gonna sword fight you properly. Like this is an intense sword fight. Like this is a real. We're going back and forth. Like we're leaping up on things because I've got robot training and you got actual skill and you're also a dragon right now.
Yeah.
And so like we're genuinely having like an Inoue Montoya.
Yeah.
Like,
You killed my father.
yeah, it's a
prepared
kind
to
of
die.
moment of intensity, suddenly ratcheting up this play's intensity. Sal, how do you feel about that?
I am going to. I feel like at this moment in the play, like if it was normally right, was it Gertrude? Was the other person that was like part of the monologue earlier?
Oh, Hey Kid's doing the wind effects.
Yes. Okay. I think. No, I think the idea is like, Hey Kid's doing the wind effect, the boat is sailing, and Hey Kid believes that the scene should be over, but because Parrish is like refusing to give up, Hey Kid's kind of moving on with the set design.
Yeah, they want to show off their next cool set.
Meaning that the ship has landed and it's time for them to be in the forest now. So I'm gonna do the whoopsie of because this is still happening and I don't know what to do. I want to edit my own script right before I go on stage as the tree.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think that Hey Kid is rolling out like the forest scene, and they painted up a whole forest on they took one of the sheets from they took some linens.
Yeah.
And they painted a forest on linens, and it is genuinely well painted. You know what I mean? Like it is genuinely an impressive mural work with one day's notice. But Amelie has an important piece of programming, which is always scan for potential messes and never allow the bed and breakfast to remain dirty. And there is nothing that I can imagine that is more messy than than what looks to Amelie like Hey Kid just spilled a bunch of acrylic paint all over a bunch of sheets and I was rolling out. So Amelie blocks your blade, mid sword fight turns their head, and you watch as their eyes change from green to red, and you see they're the machinery components of their body ripple as they anticipate the mess, and they're like, this fight ends now. I must destroy the mess. As they turn their head, refusing to diverge from their programming.
I think as you turn, and with your permission here,
Yes.
I think I have, like I said, I went a little too ham with it. I think I sort of trip over it, and I'm gonna take 2 whoopsies here. We're really just min-maxing.
Oh yeah,
this.
yeah, of course.
I think what happens is you block my sword. I sort of trip over the edge of the table we've been.
Yeah.
But also, I have a sword in my hand, and I think the thing that happens is I rip your costume and fall off the boat.
Yes.
Simultaneously.
I have a question about your sword.
Yeah.
Is it your sword? Is it?
I don't think it was supposed to be, but it absolutely is.
I think you, the katana cleanly cutting through something, right?
Mm-hmm.
You swing your sword, and my hat just goes zoop, and then you fall over.
So your costume rips, I slip. My left knee is already a little bad.
Yes, of course.
So I do think I hurt my knee falling. But I do genuinely fall down. The dragon has been defeated.
Yes, the plot is technically going the way it's supposed to in terms of plot beats. So what are you doing? You're going outside your tree.
Yeah, I'm a tree. I've edited my lines as you have reached the forest, and the line, I think it was something to be I'm a mystical tree. I'm welcoming you to this island of self-discovery. But instead, I see your murderous, angry eyes.
Yeah, Amelie in death mode. Yeah.
Yeah, I changed the line to be you must battle through all of our very intense things and find the heat of passion to be your one true love.
I think I'm gonna look at you and I'm going to say, I'm gonna do, I am not here for love. I am here to eat shoots and leaves. Delivering an absurd pun, which...
This is very good.
And the audience, despite themselves, the rabbits like it. Yeah. What a funny button to have.
I have.
So good.
Wait, you haven't seen the really good button, and I'm gonna distract
show
us
off
for
a
1
little
second.
Why is it spicy?
Oh my.
This is
God.
Tony's board, and this was programmed in already.
Yeah, that's they were like, what's the most important noises that this machine can make?
spicy?
Why is this spicy? Yeah, I always wish that I had a button in my life to let me say that.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay,
And now we have it.
I think I'm also going to. I think just because while I'm at it, I'm gonna. I think Amelie goes through that, and they're gonna hit a error. And I don't know what that programming error is as their flamethrower activates. So they begin to get ready to burn down the linens.
Mm-hmm.
But something stops them. So I'd love to know what it is.
I'm gonna cover up with cover up a problem with the flawless improvisation. And like as you're powering up to like get this paint covered sheet, Sal is just gonna grab the corner of it and flip it around, and like remove it from your line of sight. So now it's the clean side, and wrap it around themselves like a cape, and like turn and look at Captain Redtooth, and like extend a hand and say something like, "Hark! I am the Prince of Trees, and I am released from your spell due to your beautiful poetry." As I am I'm now forgetting my line.
Oh, yes, of course. But you did stop Amelie, and they're going to give a thank you awkwardly. And they're going to say, they're going to receive a thank you awkwardly, as they're like, you are welcome, I guess. As like you watch as like the flamethrower goes back into their arm, and like their eyes go from red to green, and they're like, I am Captain Redtooth. That is true. And like they're going to get stage fright suddenly as they realize abruptly they're in a living room with a bunch of rabbits and Gertrude watching them as they almost made a big fool of themselves, and they're a bit embarrassed about it. In fact. Parrish, how are you doing? Have you realized you're not a dragon?
I have realized I'm not a dragon. I'm ready to be in the actual play finally.
Amazing.
And I think to that end, I'm gonna come on. I'm gonna come on to deliver a line that makes someone laugh here. And I'm gonna come back. I am the evil. I'm the like son of the evil dragon or something at this point. It's been a long line of evil dragons being felled by this captain. But I do come on. There's a line about like, oh, the old man's finally gone.
Oh, that's really good. Amelie doesn't laugh, but I do.
Yeah, no.
I feel like that counts.
That does count.
It
That
does,
does count.
it does.
The rabbits are laughing at
Yes,
me.
the
100%.
rabbits are laughing. Can you hit us with a?
There
The
we
rabbits
go.
really like that one. Yeah. God.
I'm lucky I didn't get hit with a.
Ooh, even true. Amelie, I think, is going to get passive aggressive about it and say, in character as Captain Redtooth, they're going to say, it is still your family that cursed this tree to be a tree instead of a prince. Your violence has, step 2, stage left, caused terrible problems for all of our society. And you must be... I will have nothing more to do with you. You cannot be defeated by blades. Turn away from the audience. Reflect on deepest feelings.
I think here is actually where Parrish, as Evil Dragon Jr., delivers a surprisingly heart-wrenching soliloquy about, like, knowing their father was a bad person and not thinking he should be judged for the wrongs of his father when he was trying to make them right himself.
Generational trauma,
Yeah.
taking accountability, all
Yeah.
of that.
I think Amelie is going to anticipate and they're going to look closely. I'm going to silently solve a complicated problem, which is that Amelie
Here,
looks...
bring it in a little bit.
Oh, right, thank you.
Yeah.
Amelie looks over at Parrish, looks over at the son of the dragon. Captain Redtooth takes off his hat that has been cut in half and reveals Haken runs up and puts a couple packets of ketchup up there, such that you notice that they are bleeding from their head. Captain Redtooth will die from the wounds inflicted in the dragon's duel. They do not have much time left to live.
I feel like I'm going to do a whoopsie and interrupt the play with a quick correction. Go, oh no, actually, the wound isn't that bad. I don't want anybody to be too sad. It's not actually that bad. It's more like it's like a head wound, so it's bleeding a lot. But it's actually that they just need to just like sit down. They sit down. They're just gonna pass out really quick.
Amelie is going to turn to you, and I think is gonna I'm going to do an offstage argument that's louder than the play. Because they just fully out of character. I was going from green to blue as they just turn and they're just like, I'm trying to set up the dramatic conclusion of the play. You absolute dunce. The wound needs to be dangerous. How on earth can we make your artistic genius realized you are impractical to work with?
I'm gonna spend one to use one of my bingos and stand up for myself in a way the old you couldn't have and say, I understand what you're saying, but I think that it's important that sometimes things don't feel like they're really intense and extreme. Sometimes things can just be not that big of a deal, and that's okay. And my art, that's what I want to communicate through this play, is that not everything is like the highest stakes. You don't have to sometimes you can mess up and still be okay.
Amelie looks at you witheringly. And I'm gonna be a jerk. I don't know, I'm just a little jerk. I'm gonna get passive aggressive about it, and I'm gonna say, you know a lot about needing to be forgiven for mistakes, wouldn't you?
Parrish is gonna rescue someone else from peril in this situation.
Yeah, the rabbits are frozen. Popcorn fall, they're like, huh.
Parrish is gonna rescue someone else from peril, and in doing so, maybe just make a fool out of themselves to sort of
course,
draw away from the situation.
Yes.
But is going to just start delivering a actually is going to loudly announce their exit from the scene. Like, I'll be back. Just push the play to the next. We're just gonna skip whatever was supposed to happen here.
I was gonna say, Sal, where are we in the play?
I feel like we've revealed that there's like a curse and everything, and we understand like the tree prince, and that Red Tooth is trying to free the tree prince.
Mm-hmm. And there's the son of the dragon.
And the son of the dragon that's just kind of carrying on this hateful, problematic legacy.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're getting close to the end where Captain Red Tooth and the tree prince are supposed to who is still a tree. Has to kind of break the curse.
For those who don't know, for those at home, there is exactly one thing left to do to make the play good, and there's one thing left to do to make the play bad.
It's on us.
It is truly a question of whether or not someone will miss their big entrance before they cry realistic tears over someone who's died a realistic death.
Yeah, I think
Sal ruining his own play.
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like this could go either way.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I think, and you guys could correct me if you're wrong, or if I'm wrong. I think what Sal's gonna do is we get to this moment where it's Red Tooth and the Tree Prince, and we're at this moment of losing, we're gonna break the curse, but the Tree Prince knows that it can only be broken if everyone who was a part of making the curse is there. And so the Tree Prince opens his beautiful fringed jacket armed wide and raises up and shakes all the leaves off to summon the terrible dragon into this conflict resolution.
And I think as you do this, Paris misses his big entrance.
Of course he does.
Of course he does. Oh. If
sorry.
all the checkboxes get checked off, Sal is mortified and cancels the whole thing mid-act. So, Sal, tell me, you do that and the dragon doesn't show up. And I'm just staring at you. My eyes, I've got on my face, I have an LCD screen, and it's just showing a neutral, a blank, slightly slanted emoji face as I just stare at you.
I just have my arms up, the fringe, there's a couple of leaves that didn't fall off when I did my very cool wind dance. And I just stand there and I stare and I look at the rabbits, and I let my arms drop down to my side and goes, whatever, this is stupid and I hate it. And I'm gonna kick part of the set and like it's actually gonna punch, like my foot's gonna punch through the cardboard little bush. So now I have it around my leg and awkwardly like step off the stage, and just like takes the scribbled on papers that I have and crumples them up and just like throws them behind me, and I think I just storm out of the room. Like I feel like it just didn't work, and I'm really upset.
Amelie is the only one left on stage because the dragon's not there and Sal's left. They play a small eye rolling animation, just a little like, and then they go, "That's all, folks." And then, "Hey kid, let's go of the curtains," and they fall, and everyone gets up, and we agree never to speak of this performance
I think
again.
as the curtains fall, Parrish is like, I have Oh,
too late. Throw any leftover tokens in the trash, so we don't need any of those. The chapter is over. We do get a torn up script to keep at the bed and breakfast. I would like to know where we would like to keep that script. We have a few spots to keep it in, if we would care to.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We have these shelves. We can put them at the abandoned bus stop. We can put it in, let's see where we got open spots. Hey Kids nightstand, Gay the Old
100% it's in Hey Kids nightstand.
Lisa,
Like,
all right.
the crumpled up pages were thrown behind, and Hey Kid worked really hard on those sets.
Yeah.
And so I think, like, Hey Kid, like, maybe there was a part of it that spoke to Hey Kid.
Yeah.
And so he kind of gathered up the crumpled remains and stored it away in a
Can you
nightstand.
draw me a little cruddy picture of the torn up script right there?
Yeah.
Thank you. In the actual game, these will be stickers that you put into these spots, but for now, it's,
I sort of like having to draw the pictures on.
Yeah, it's the DIY element is fun. I like
Yeah.
DIY-Z, but I think is a lot of fun as like a little alternate way of handling the whole thing. But that was Sal's written to play. We got the bad ending.
We got the bad ending.
But we did it. We finished that chapter.
Too
And we
bad.
also, at least, I will note, we got, with this third sticker, we have unlocked a new guest at the bed and breakfast named Dog, who is a Cerberus puppy that is Hey Kid's pet. So there we go. That was Yazeba. What time is it?
It is. We streamed for 41 minutes. It is 3:06.
So if we want, we can play another chapter, or we can call it here.
Let's call it here. This was great.
Yeah,
Good.
this
Yeah,
was
thank you so much for
perfect.
playing. That
Thank
is
you for running
Yazeba's
it.
Bed and Breakfast. Now you know.
I love
I
it.
would love. What's your thoughts on it now that you've
I think
played
it's
it?
delightful. I love it. Like, it's just how quick and like anyone can jump in if you have the tokens to like spend. I love like reading through the character sheets. Like, the vibe was immediately set. Like,
Oh yeah,
just
absolutely.
like cute, like little like cottage. We're all family.
Yes.
Everyone belongs, but it's complicated because we're family, and there's lore that exists and can build up and grow over time. And I love that, like, just spouting truth into this like already existing thing. It felt really
Yes.
nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like, it's just, yeah, no other game can do
right,
this.
right. No, that's yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this was a blast. I think a thing you could say about Possum Creek Games, or a thing you couldn't say about Possum Creek Games, is they're never badly written.
Yeah, seriously, gorgeous.
Thank you. It's even funny because there's like moments where I'm like, ooh, because since I printed this out like all a year and a half ago, and since then there have been, there's 4 editors on the project who have been working their way through the whole thing, and like so many revision sets. That's why I didn't have us play Gone Fishin', because the opening fiction I have printed out is worse than the opening fiction in the final book. Like, it's received some important edits since then.
Okay.
And I'm just like, I don't want to show you the bad fiction.
Yeah, that's fair.
The bad opening fiction. But
Yeah,
I love
a very cool thing about playing this one is because it was obviously you've been playing in this like specific, I guess, like universe of it or whatever. Getting to pick up the characters and be like, oh cool, I have like a suit of armor, like a damaged leg. Like everybody
Yeah.
has like history sort of on the character sheet, which is
yeah,
very
like
cool.
it feels like it grows with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool as the concierge to get to kind of take care of this thing and like see it play out over time and see how like people's choices make it grow, and like moments that like rhyme with things that have happened in the past, like our little moment as Sal and Amelie, which like is just kind of like, it's not a theme I've seen much in this version, but like other times when I've seen people play, I've seen that kind of like Sal Amelie tension, like frenemies energy. And so it's a cool thing to bring in, even if no one ever does anything with it again. It's just like a cool, like, it's like a melting pot of canon, you know?
Yeah, I love it. Like it just immediately, like we played a lot of games, and like what I loved about this one was, again, it was just immediately like you read a little bit about Yazeba's, and it was just like immediately tone set, vibe set, and everyone understands the assignment.
And we're just like, character creation, I think, is a really cool thing, but it becomes this kind of like sacred cow of RPGs, right?
100%.
Where it's like, oh, every game has to have it. Whereas like the advantage of not having character creation in Yazeba's is that I can give you these characters, you can get on board immediately, and then the game can get very specific with it, right? Like there can be rules for Sal, there can be rules for specific people in specific moments, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it gets to be really carefully curated for that, and it really lets you, like, you know, this game would have taken twice as long if we had to make characters first, and our relationship with our characters would actually be less deep, right? Like, I perhaps, maybe I'm mistaken, but I assume that, like, your connection with Parrish or Sal or whatever is deeper than it would be if there was like a random character you made up in 30 minutes then played with for an hour.
Yeah, because it was
especially because there's some like legacy element to it. It's like I don't want to see bad things happen to
them.
In a way that usually if I'm doing a one shot, I'm like, this motherfucker can
we
die.
can just, but like Sal's heart's been broken and fixed like 5 times. I want Sal to win.
I want Sal to be okay. Yeah, exactly.
Like it gives you that like. There's an element of care that exists because it's like it's more like you're being entrusted with something rather than you're creating something new that like it won't matter. You know what I mean?
You feel like a steward of this rather than like, oh, I'm just, you know, like there's no consequences, it'll be gone after a couple hours.
This is not a fuck around and find out game.
Exactly. Well, and like that's what's nice about the slice of life structure, right? Is that the situations you're playing out don't enter those stakes, right?
Yeah.
Like, if this was a game about life or death situations, it would be kind of really stressful to be like, oh god, I'm taking care of this character who might die. Like, and then like, oh, what? Parrish is dead now. Okay.
Yeah.
But in this, it's like, what's the worst that? I mean, we had the bad ending, right?
Yeah.
We had basically the equivalent of failing the dungeon, right?
Yeah.
But it's fine, and like Sal will be fine. Everyone's gonna be fine about it. You know, it doesn't matter. You know?
I love that. I think it's beautiful. I really liked that.
Yes, I'm so glad. Thank you. This is my M and I as the co-creators. We've been working on this since November of 2019.
Holy shit.
M was like, hey, I gotta take this month off, and that was the month I wrote Wander Home. Like, this thing has been like a continuous current for years, so it's so nice to finally be able to get to like play it with people and show it off.
Right. I love it. It's so sweet, and like again, like it feels like everyone's welcome. I really like that. I love like games that just like make you all warm and fuzzy.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, this was great.
Is there, and before we kind of close out the recording, anything else you'd like to plug or talk about?
So I'm the editorial director at Possum Creek Games. You can check us out and pre-order Yazeba's Bed and Breakfast at Possum Creek Games or go on BackerKit. You can get this game. We have a full box set, which includes a ledger that allows you to like, you know, keep track of all this stuff without having to like shove it in the book. It also comes with like a custom set of playing cards. We're doing an online version that's like designed to be just as much of a tactile experience as this binder is.
That's the OMM. I can't think of what it stands
One
for.
More Multiverse.
There we go.
Yeah, we really are working with them to make a cool like tactile sensory experience. That like, cause like this would be so ill-served by Roll20, right? Like,
absolutely.
You want something that actually feels like a living game that lives and grows with you. And that was important. Like, we're working with to make that really a thing that is present digitally. Like, digital is an afterthought. It's not just a PDF. It's like a thing that you can actually really sink your teeth into.
Yeah.
It's like a scrapbook or like a photo album. Like it's not like just a bunch of,
or even at times a dollhouse, which is a really cool feeling, like getting to move around. But so do check all that out. There's also a Parrish plush. There's a bunch of cute things.
Cute.
And yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was a ton of fun.
Thanks so much for joining
Highlight
us.
of PAX.
Awesome.
I love to hear highlight of PAX.
I'm taking it. I'm running with it. I'm telling everyone.
Absolutely.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks everybody. Keegan, you have anything else you want to say?
Have fun and enjoy the pizza.
Enjoy the pizza.
Enjoy the pizza.